Well, good morning, folks. It is about 9 a.m. Eastern Time, which is about 2.5 to 3 hours later than the news normally comes out. We've had a significant amount of computer trouble this morning, but we are past that now. Everything is back up and running and all good. And since we are mostly quiet here on the world, figured it would be a pretty good time to just show you guys how the news is done. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to share my screen here. And you'll have to excuse me, I don't know where that music is coming from. There we go. Alright, so we're going to start here at the at the world wind map, excuse me. First thing I want you to notice is this is post-tropical Norbert right here. No longer a hurricane, in the middle of weakening. And what you're seeing here is the precipitable water overlay. These colors mean dry, and I'll click the Earth button in the bottom left so I can pull up the actual scale here. You can see on the scale that these yellows or tan colors are drier, and the closer you get to light blue, sky blue, and white is the more water there is. I'm going to leave this on while we look at the world wind map here. This area right here over the U.S. Southwest and over Mexico is the shear that's coming off of Norbert. That is one of the things that is causing this flash flood warning right here, which they're calling for some reason monsoon season. It's directly tied to the tropical storms that are there. We also have a flash flood warning over on the East Coast, and that is due to a little low, which you can see sucking in counterclockwise there at the coastline, but you also see this heavy flow of heat and moisture directly north up into Canada. Well, that is because we have another low up here as well, and even though this is not on the official watch list, where this heat and moisture is flowing, perhaps a little bit east of that as we get later into the day, there should be another storm watch up here as well. That is not on listed as one of the major storm watches. They say there could be rain and some thunderstorms, but I think it might be a little more of one of those yellow watches we're used to seeing here. Interesting, we see the word snow right there. I know some areas of Alberta have already seen snow. Looks like it's coming again for some parts of Alberta and British Columbia. I'm going to go back to the U.S. wind, or the world wind map here and pull up Europe. And for those who don't know how to use the world wind map, click on my name anywhere on this page. That'll bring up our channel page, and then go scroll down, and under valuable information you'll find a video on how to use this. Anyway, this is the low out here in the Atlantic that we've been focused on for a few days, and it actually looks like it's a bit further away from the coast now. The main low that we're going to be worried about right now is up here by Norway, drawing a lot of moisture in. It's how we get the main rain forecast to be up here. Now, I'm going to switch to the thunderstorm forecast. You can see that these are mostly due to just some heat coming off of the Mediterranean. Looking down, these are very, very low warnings. No major warnings for Europe today. We're going to shift over to Australia and New Zealand. Note the high pressure right here, pretty much keeping New Zealand dry today. And we have flows coming onto Australia from both directions. And this is why that we see a lot of moisture going to come up and just drop right after they've come up onto land. Really, it is pretty much that simple in terms of doing the weather. Let's kick it to space weather for a moment, because frankly it's all quiet here as well. In fact, the closest thing we have to a story is the fact that the solar wind speed did take another little jump up. I actually think that may have been part of a coronal hole stream rather than part of that weak interplanetary shock from days ago, but nonetheless, KP index is low and we have absolutely no geomagnetic instability. GOES X-ray flux shows that we failed to get back up into M range. We were just kind of sputtering with some smaller C flares. And just as importantly, here on the SOHO LASCO C3 coronagraph, you can see that there are no large flares or CMEs, even on the backside of our star. Last but not least, folks, let's check and see what the potential is for more flaring. And finally, we have a day where SDO is a bit clearer. If you compare this to yesterday's news, you'll see that yesterday's images were very degraded on SDO. Here we can see that we've got positive, negative, but they're not as connected as we want. Their penumbras do appear to be touching. You can call that delta if you want, but there's too much area in between the positive and negative for them to really mix very well. Now we're going to come down and take a look at this large area on the south. Now, this is where I made an error yesterday, and I'm not sure if this is if it actually was an error or if you know, this has rebuilt from yesterday. But I said that this delta class sunspot had kind of decayed, and it looks like that's not the case today. It looks like we have a strong mix of positive and negative right there. Maybe we just weren't able to see it on yesterday's more degraded and more grainy images, but it looks like indeed this delta class sunspot is surviving, even though it's not really popping major flares. There's the last couple hours of the star, very, very calm, not even really any coronal holes facing Earth. If anybody wants to come and make their own movies on ISWA, I've showed you guys how to do that on SDO a number of times. But just come to the integrated space weather application. There'll be a link for this below. And under the solar tab, just come to 4 or 5 or 6, and you'll find all these wonderful sun images that we use all the time. If you don't feel like waiting for HelioViewer, this can be a lot quicker, and it's as simple as clicking the button down there to start a movie. I tend to want to make a bigger movie, so I'll look at 100 frames, 10 frames per second, click apply, and right now ISWA is building a movie of the last 100 images of the SDO AIA 193. Then it's as simple as you know, you can see the little progress bar. This really doesn't take that long. It's already up into the 70s. I'll zoom in a bit here. And as you can see, the movie has started. It really is that simple. Apologies for taking so long to get the news out today, folks, but I've had some computer trouble that we are now past, and really do appreciate the patience. Calm day, though. Luckily, nothing major is happening. I will catch you guys a little bit later in the afternoon. Be safe, everyone.